So we've got a 9-horse Craftsman 26-inch snowblower. It's a nice unit. Look how small this chute is. And you can't tell it now it's halfway apart, but the auger doesn't spin all that fast. So it tends to only kick the snow about 5 feet at most. And so I checked, make sure my belt's not slipping. I have the right size belt. Got a good pulley. Keyways aren't slipping. So my solution here is to increase the pulley size of the drive belt for the auger. That's going to give a higher speed to this belt and a higher auger speed. I'm not going to change the drive pulley for the tractor portion so that it'll still proceed nice and slow. Increase in the size of the pulley will allow us to kick the snow out a lot farther. Now I've already unbolted it and taken one of the belts off. If you're going to do this, you have to unbolt the top bolt and then angle this forward, and I'll let you get that off. This pulley is a little trickier. It's got a tensioner right here. So what I did is I took the spark plug wire off, and always take the spark plug wire off when working on a small engine, because these are powered by magnetos, and a magneto will spark whether you want it to or not when rotating an engine. So in order to avoid losing our fingers, see, I got all 5 there, all 5 there. Take the plug wire off because we are going to rotate this. I'm going to mount the camera for this next operation. So the first thing you do is after unplugging your spark plug, you loosen this bolt and get this guide out of the way. Just rotate it and tighten it back up. Grab the starter handle. Take a small pry bar, one with gentle edges, nothing real sharp. Okay, I know that tip looks sharp, but it's actually not. What we want to do is push on the belt just a little bit, and we want to angle it. And then we're going to slowly rotate the engine, and the belt will come right off. Now, you can pull our pulley assembly off. That is also how you get this belt off. So this pulley assembly is all one piece. They've made that at the factory. It's got a keyway in it, 3-inch pulley, a 2-inch pulley, and a middle shaft, and another end shaft there as spacers. So what I've done is I've purchased a 3.5-inch pulley, because we're upping that size, 2-inch pulley to replace this, and a piece of pipe. Now, the pipe fits over there nicely. And I made sure to buy one that was way too big in case I cut it wrong. And here's a couple of keyways I purchased at the hardware store. Make sure you have the correct bore. This is 3/4 inch. It's 3/4 inch pipe. Now you can measure this piece and measure that piece. Take a Sawzall or even a hacksaw, cut this and put it all together, and insert your keyways and cut your keyways to size, and you'll be golden. Me, I'm going to have a little fun on the lathe. Let's take a look at what we got here. A 2-inch, and if you look, this little space here is just about the same as this here. So we're not going to have to cut a piece of pipe to go on the end. That's good. Now this here, this new pulley, there's a little bit of a spacer on it, a nub. So we're only going to need a tiny, tiny piece to go in between these two. What I'll do is measure the height from the rotary table to the middle of this pulley. Then I'll measure the height of the rotor from the rotary table to the middle of this pulley. The difference will be the size spacer I need. 1.5. Now I'm using my eye. Look at the level and line it up with the center there. So we'll do the math. .70 inches. I always cut a little big, so we'll do it 0.75 just to make sure that we can make little adjustments as needed. So I'll cut the threads off. I'll leave a little bit of pipe in case I want to use it for something later on. There we go. Nice even cut. You don't need a lathe. You can do it with a hacksaw or a sawzall. But this, if you do it with some sort of rotating mechanism, you'll ensure that your cut is flush. Now, we're going to move this out. So, down and dirty way of adjusting this pipe so that we're going to cut it to the length we need. Loosen it up. Bring your parting tool out. Don't touch it though. Set your caliper so it's 748. That's close enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to set the caliper right against the parting tool, and we're going to bring the pipe out. And we should be very close. Matter of fact, what I'm going to do is sneak that out just another foul. So let's mark it. And for you purists, let's double check. We're going to wind up with a 0.756. Again, I'll use the eyeball. Oh wait, we already know that one. What is this one presently? That one's presently 2.32. So 2.32. The way we're going to measure the cut here is we're going to come until we're touching the face. We're going to back off. Then we are going to zero our scale. We're going to move it 0.12. Oh, let's fit it. Oh, that's pretty good. Let's see how it fits on the snowblower. Okay, to fit the keyway properly, I had to make up for a little ramp back here. So, let's bring this up to the... You can see I ground an angle on the very end. What that will do, that will ride up that ramp quite nicely. And that will allow pulley fully engage the keyway, because our set screw is on the inside. Now these set screws are subject to a tremendous amount of vibration, so we're going to use a little bit of Loctite. Cut the keyway on, move it up a little. Use my eyeball to line up the pulleys. We'll set that in there. First pulley, this set screw is actually pushing on that ramped end, but it's engaged the full length. This just keeps everything from coming loose. And you can see the blue Loctite I have on there. I'm going to measure this amount right here and cut my keyway. I'm not going to show that. You know what it looks like to operate a hacksaw. So I'm going to cut it with a hacksaw and dress it on the wheel. So I had to make another spacer. This one was just a little bit too long. And when I finally got everything together and lined up, I could see that my belt was a bit offset. I want it as straight as possible, because if it rides crooked on any pulley, then the belt will fray and and it'll fly off or break in the middle of a snowstorm. Now there's not enough meat here to stick in the lathe, not easily at least, so I just cut another piece from my piece of pipe. And that's common on jobs like this, where you make all your measurements, you do your best, and then when you get it all together, you make some measurements and you find out you're a little bit off. Now we wound up being flush here, so we can use the original bolt. A little bit of Loctite on there. Let's put this back together now. Like and subscribe, or I'll set this fella loose in your garage.